Hello, Curbside Podcast. It's Jeff. We're out here on the Red Canyon Jeep Trail, and we're going to be seeing if this old girl is going to be able to make it. But first, we have to go back in time a bit.
The car in question is this Acura MDX. My parents bought it new in 2005, and for the past year, it's just been sitting in this driveway. So the question was, would it even start?
She lives! This car is currently running on a donut spare in that corner, so we're gonna take it to the tire shop, get the one in the trunk swapped out, and we should be good to go.
So after a quick visit to America's Tire for some new rubber and putting some new scratches on the paint with a wash, the car was pretty much ready for its big day.
All right, it is the day of the trip. Going with me are Pat, Pat, Leslie, and Ryan. So Pat's gonna be taking his Forester here in case we get into any trouble. And let me show you what we've got. We are very, very over prepared for this trip. We have a cooler, we have wood planks, a shovel, hand sanitizer obviously, some shelter, oil, fluids, gas, lots of water, first aid-ish. Pat, what do you have?
Most important one.
Yes.
Cheese balls.
Yeah. The most important bit of any outdoor trip is this.
With that important gear loaded up, we set off on the 2-hour drive to the trailhead.
We made it! This is considered a relatively easy trail, so if all goes well, we should be able to make it through just fine. But it's very hot today. Do you know how hot it is right now?
The car last said 106.
Oh gosh. Yeah, best not to get stuck today. We have plenty of water, plenty of supplies, but this is
cheese balls.
We have cheese balls, and hopefully our cameras don't fry up. So yeah. Shall we get going? All right, let's go.
Well, this is exciting. I've always wanted to go off-roading, but never got the chance to. Thing is, the only thing I know about off-roading skill is to not keep your thumbs wrapped around the steering wheel. That's it. But this should be a relatively easy trail, so I think we're good. I think we're good to go. Let's get started. All right, Pat, I think we're good to go.
The Red Canyon Jeep Trail is located in Indio, California, and is a dirt track that runs some 12 miles down to another bit called the Bradshaw Trail. With the first few miles being some easy dirt road, I was feeling pretty confident in the car I was in.
You know, now the MDX may be pretty much a soccer mom's car, but I think with this first generation, they really thought of off-roading a bit. It actually has a better approach and breakover angle than the Forester Pat is driving over there. It also has this VTM4 lock button thing that's supposed to use some sort of witchcraft to get you out of sticky situations, and that's about it, really. But I think it's just sad that you'll probably never be able to get another car like this. A luxury 3-row crossover with Japanese reliability that's also small enough to be doing this kind of stuff. The newest MDX is almost 8 inches longer than this is. In car terms, that's like miles.
Even along these easy dirt tracks, I was already enjoying everything about this trip. Well, except for one thing.
It is so hot today. Sorry about all the wind noise, it's the AC running. I am not doing this without AC because I might as well kill myself.
In fact, it was getting so hot that eventually this happened.
The iPad says the camera is overheating.
Let's bring it inside for a bit.
So after rescuing the heat stroke camera and getting it some shelter, we set off back onto the trail, which started to get a bit wobbly.
Whee! Now this isn't tough terrain at all for like a Land Rover or a Jeep or something, but you never really see family crossovers do this nowadays. But it's nice to know that you can. This car just isn't stressing through any of this.
In fact, the cars were doing so well, I was afraid the trail would get too boring. But then this happened.
I'm watching them go over this little steep bit here. It seems kind of intense, but looks like the Subaru's getting over just fine. Or maybe not.
No worries though, we had a plan.
All right, so we hit a bit of a snag here. So to get past this sort of gully thing, we're going to be airing down the tires and hopefully we'll get over this. Most likely we'll get over this, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't realize the pressure was that high.
Yeah, we're running at 40 PSI, I think, on Pat's car. I don't know what I'm running on, but but yeah, this should ideally get us up and over.
All right, tires all aired up. Pat's Subaru made it over fine. It has a much better four-wheel drive system than this guy, but let's see how this goes. No problem. No problem. There we go. I guess airing out tires does work, because that's what people who know how to do this would have done very early on. There is only one place on this trail that people say is relatively intimidating. It's this big steep hill that's near the end of it. But I've heard many people say that even a normal road car like this, not some dedicated 4x4, can make it over. So I think we should be good to go, but we will see when we get there.
So now the trail was finally starting to get a little more interesting. Even so, the Forester and the 15-year-old Mommy Mobile were tackling the terrain just fine. And eventually, they brought us to our next big obstacle. Well, big-ish.
Oh crap, there's a hole, hold on.
We just came out here to check out this guy. That's not a, it's quite the substantial hole, but I think if we go to the right, we'll be fine.
I think so.
All right. Hopefully, this all goes well. All right, here we go. Gotta straddle the right. Make sure. Ooh, scratching her up real bad on the trees right there. Oh. That was probably not the proper way to do it. Alright, I'm good to go. And well, hopefully we didn't break anything on that. And yes, I could hear proper off-roaders yelling at me already. I deserve it.
Despite that slightly scary experience, we and the car soldiered on throughout the trail until we came face to face with what would be the final two bosses, a steep downwards bank and a steep upwards hill.
So we're gonna take the bank first. All right, here we go. Concentrate. Jeffrey, concentrate. This is, wow, that is quite the steep bank. Look at that. I could almost reach out and touch the ground.
I'm just gonna go down carefully. Make it a bit wide. There we go. Nothing to it.
So this is the big steep hill that I was talking about earlier. Now I'm sure on camera it doesn't look all too steep, but if you look at it from this angle, yeah, it's kind of steep. I could probably just slide my way down, but this should be the biggest obstacle, and we'll see if we make it. Wish us luck.
So the Subaru first.
All right, no problem then. But what about the much older and much heavier MDX?
Here we go. Let's see if we make it. Come on, baby. Come on. Do the climb. We got this. You can do this. Ooh. Come on. Yeah. Almost there. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, you're there. You made it. Yes. We made it. That was pedal to the floor.
We made it! We did it. Hardest part, supposedly. So now, should be smooth sailing to the end. Ideally.
And with those difficult bits behind us, it really was just a straight shot to the end. All we had to do was follow the trail and enjoy the view. With that new sense of relief and the end of the trail fast approaching, I started to reflect on my time with this fantastic car.
You know, I don't believe it when people say they don't form any sort of attachment to their car. Like this MDX, I've had it in my family for 15 years. 15 years, that's more than half my life. First my dad drove it, then my mom drove it, and then I got it as my first car. I remember when I first got it, and being the ungrateful child I was like, you know, I don't quite like it, the steering's too numb, the throttle response is not good enough. As if I knew anything. But over time, you know what? I've really grown to love it. Because in the end, you don't really become attached to a vehicle due to the performance or the specs. It's because of its story, the memories you created. This car has taken me on so many different adventures. It's taken me up to the mountains for ski trips. It's taken me to high school dances. I shuttled around 6 people on our church retreat. And now it's doing this stuff. It's continuing to make memories. You know, some people think I'm weird, but I absolutely love this thing. Love, love, love it.
And soon, a couple miles later, we reached the end of the trail. The Bone Stock Forester and the 15-year-old 205,000-mile MDX made it. But before we headed on home, we decided to take a little bit of a detour to this place. It's the old Eagle Mountain Railroad Bridge. Built back in 1948, it served as part of a 51-mile-long railway that transported iron ore from the Eagle Mountain mine down to near the Salton Sea. Today, it serves as a historical viewpoint to the many who tackle the Red Canyon Trail.
The thing is though, the mining company stopped using that bridge back in 1986. Well, the whole railroad itself. I'm sure it still worked fine as a railroad, it just became too expensive to run. And there's rumors that pretty soon, even this is going to be dismantled. And sadly, that's kind of the same story with this car. You saw it does its job perfectly fine, but it's just too expensive. I get at best 15 miles per gallon, and all the little fixes to keep it running, it's not worth it at this point. So, like that bridge, this old girl is gonna be assigned to the history book soon, which is a real shame.